right, and welcome to another Rin Reads. Thank you to those of you who are joining me on this journey. Today, I have Percy with me, my Pomeranian, so I'm sorry if he gets in the way. He's being very needy and has to be beside me today. So today, the book that we are looking at is not a Sweet Valley book, but the first in the Teeny Wonderful series. So it is 4 books, and they were written by Martyn Godfrey, who is, I think he's British Canadian, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've researched him, but I remember him for sure being Canadian, pretty sure he's British as well. And I love his books. So I was introduced to Martyn Godfrey books by my grade 4 teacher. He used to do read alouds to us every day after lunch. It was my favorite time of the day. Some of my absolute favorite books from my childhood actually are ones that my grade 4 teacher read to me, which is why I think that reading aloud to children, no matter what age they are, is like huge. So yeah, Martyn Godfrey books, so important to me, mostly because they are based in Canada. So growing up in Canada, I found that it wasn't always books that I could relate to. I loved Sweet Valley so much. They were like my favorite series, but I couldn't really relate to these twin sisters living in Southern California. At the time, internet wasn't really a big thing. It was just starting. My family didn't travel much outside of Canada at that time. And so, you know, Southern California just wasn't accessible to me the way that it could be in today's modern world. So Martyn Godfrey's books were so important to me because they talked about places that I knew, places I'd been, places that I could imagine in my mind as I was reading because I knew them. And so that's what made his books so important to me growing up. I love so many of his books. Not all of them are like based in Canada. There's one sci-fi book, but we'll get into that later. But they hold such a special place in my heart. So we're gonna go into Miss Teeny Wonderful first. So here she is, Miss Teeny Wonderful. So there's 4 Carol and Wally books. The first 3 are kind of Carol based, and then the 4th one is Wally based. If I remember correctly, I'm doing this from memory. I think it's Here She Is, Miss Teeny Wonderful. Send in Miss Teeny Wonderful. It Ain't Easy Being Miss Teeny Wonderful. And then Wally Stutzgummer, Super Bad Dude, or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, let's get into the book. So Carol is a girl from St. Albert, Alberta, which is right outside of Edmonton, Alberta. And I grew up in Alberta, so I knew Edmonton. Edmonton was a place I'd visited many times. Carol, her and her friends, as you can kind of see, they jump bikes over garbage cans. Now, my friends and I growing up, we never jumped over garbage cans, but we did build ramps out of wood to jump bikes on our street. So like, these are things that I could relate to. These are things that I did. These are places I'd been. And so what happens is this super tomboy girl, Carol, she gets entered in the Miss Teeny Wonderful contest, which is hosted by Canada Woman magazine. And her mother has entered her. And it kind of goes through this whole phase of Carol being like, oh, you entered me. I can't believe you did this. This is terrible. You don't know me at all. To kind of getting on board because there's a cash prize and she wants to buy a trail bike. And so she gets on board, and then as she kind of goes through, it starts to mean more to her and she starts to kind of want to win, which is kind of neat to see that transition from her, where she's still true to herself, but she starts to actually kind of enjoy the event that she's at. So they go to Toronto. She's able to bring an escort, and it's kind of hilarious because Carol goes off about how an escort just sounds like a fancy word for a date. She ends up bringing her best friend Wally, which is great because Wally really is able to calm her down and make her just kind of chill which she's not able to do by herself. She's afraid of flying. That's something that I was afraid of when I first kind of started traveling by airplane. She travels to Toronto with Wally for this contest. There's 50 other girls from all over Canada, and they go through this whole thing. So of course, you have the evil characters. So there's these twins from Ottawa, which once again is a place that I know because I have family in Ottawa. So, you know, I really related to that. So there's these evil twins from Ottawa who will stop at nothing to win. They do all of these pranks on Carol, from switching the signs on the change rooms at the pool so that she goes into the wrong change room, to actually like physically doing harm to her stuff. One of which was like exceedingly dangerous and could have actually hurt Carol. So yeah, rereading, there are some things that I kind of wonder when my teacher read it to us in grade 4. I'm like, that's a little risky for like grade 4. They asked Carol what her favorite part of Canada Women's Magazine is in her interview, and she says, you know, the parts on sex stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't think my teacher would have read that aloud. So, you know, like there's those little things that I wonder if my teacher had edited the version while he read it to us. But reading it was just kind of this joy. I have ordered all 4 of the books. Unfortunately, I've only received 1 and 3 so far, so I'm still waiting on 2 and 4. So it'll probably be a while before I read the next Teeny Wonderful book. But I couldn't help myself from starting it. So yeah, I love it. Think of Miss Congeniality if it was teenagers, kind of, I don't know. But it's very much that like tomboy girl who gets put into a beauty pageant and really kind of finds herself there. So yeah, great story. I love it. One of the things that like breaks my heart is that Martyn Godfrey books are out of print. And I hate that because I think it is important to have, you know, kind of that Canadian content that you don't always see to relate to. Maybe that's just me and I'm nostalgic for that. I like it. But I think it's really sad that these books are out of print. I personally feel that so many of Martyn Godfrey's books would make amazing movies or TV series. Canada Netflix, get on that. I mean, the 80s are popular and nostalgic, and they're just hilarious, fun movies. Like, come on, get on that Canada Netflix. Let's do it. Let's film some Teeny Wonderful and other such things. But yeah, so my next Martyn Godfrey is probably going to be one of my other favorite Martyn Godfrey books. Seemed like a good idea at the time. And I'm very excited. Yes, Percy's excited too. Oh, yes, he is. So I'm very excited about rereading this one. It is one of my absolute favorites. So as you can tell, this is a library cast off, and it's not really in the best shape, but what can you do? Torn cover and everything. But I look forward to sharing my books with you next time. Thanks for tuning in. As a side note, I have realized that there's this weird electronic noise in the background, and it's because I have my anti-bark thing on for my dog, because I'm trying to train him out of barking all the time, and I just realized that it makes this like kind of electronic hum in the background of the video. So I apologize, and now that I know that it does that, I will make sure that it is turned off when I take video. Sorry about that. Also, Scholastic is the publisher. I didn't mention that. Oops. Have a good day.